Hi, hello, and welcome back to my tiny corner of the internet, also my new kitchen. So today I thought it would be fun if I showed you guys how I make my world famous chocolate cake. Maybe not world famous, but it's pretty good. Today is Valentine's Day, but it won't be when you see this, but that's okay. So I'm going to be making just a standard chocolate cake. It's going to be vegan, and I thought I would just take you guys along with me for this process. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to start off with might seem a bit weird, but since this is a vegan chocolate cake and I'm not going to be using any dairy or eggs, the thing that I'm going to use to kind of be the egg alternative is almond milk with apple cider vinegar. So here I have 1 cup of almond milk. You could use any milk, whichever you want. I just happen to like almond, and this is completely unsweetened. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar directly in. And I'm going to let that sit for at least 5 minutes while I do everything else. And that's going to give it a chance to coagulate and get nice and chunky. Okay, so now that the milk cider is brewing, I'm going to get started on my dry ingredients. So the recipe that I'm working from is one that I've kind of curated over the years. I think I started with a recipe online and then changed it a little, and this is just what I've been following for the last few years. So I'm going to grab 1 cup of flour. I've never tried this with gluten-free flour, but I guess you could give it a whirl. That's your thing. And I'm just going to add that right into my mixing bowl. So that's half a cup. And 1 cup. Try to make the least amount of mess humanly possible. Okay. So we've got our flour. Next I'm going to add 1 cup of just regular sugar. I've used sugar alternatives in the past, like coconut sugar, palm sugar. It works. This just seems to be the most basic and easy sugar. So now that doesn't fit in this one, but it fits in the other one. Great. Just use this tiny measure. So there's half a cup. And 1 cup. Okay, so next is going to be the cocoa powder. Now, while I highly suggest you would use the special dark cocoa powder, I don't have any right now, and I went to the store to get some and they were out. So I'm just using regular cocoa powder, but I can attest to the fact that it is 10 times better with special dark, if you can find it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the baking soda, and we're going to do 1 teaspoon. Please don't put a tablespoon of baking soda in there. gonna do half a teaspoon of baking powder. And the last of the dry ingredients is salt. So the recipe calls for half a teaspoon of salt. All I have is this grinder sea salt. So if you have a tablespoon, damn it, if you have a teaspoon, please measure. I'm not the best at measuring, so how about that? Okay, so I've got all of my dry ingredients in the bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and mix those on low for just a minute. Just gonna make sure that's nice and mixed up. So now that all my dry ingredients are mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and start in on the wet ingredients. So here I have 1/3 of a cup of melted coconut oil. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop in the 1 cup of almond milk with the tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You might see the chunkies. There they are. Perfect. And lastly, the 1 tablespoon-ish of vanilla extract. Anytime anything calls for 1 tablespoon or teaspoon of vanilla, I like to just round it up to about 1.5 or 2. Just call it good. So I've got all my ingredients together in the bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing. I'm just gonna make sure that there are no lumps or bumps in there. Probably gonna mix it on medium for at least a couple minutes. And I'm just going to scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, and just mix it up for another minute. Okay, looks like we are done with the mixing part here. Stir, make sure some lumpies.
When the brown one? Oh, yeah, that's the mom, the brown one, that's lumpy.
Looks good. Okay, now that I've got my mixture ready to go, I'm gonna get my pan ready. So today I'm gonna use this little heart Bundt cake pan. And I'm gonna spray that with some canola oil or whatever oil spray you see fit. Okay, so now that my pan is ready and my mixture is ready, I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it on in. Okay, and there you have it. I'm just gonna stomp out any air bubbles. All right, so So now that this is ready to go in, I have my oven preheated to 350. Now, this recipe is a single recipe, so this will make 2 regular 9-inch cakes. It'll make one 9x13. You can put it in an 8x8. You can make a dozen cupcakes. You can make mini cupcakes. It all just depends on what you want to make, but this is going to be a single recipe batch of cake. So the times are going to vary depending on what you're baking. For me, I'm baking a cake that's really tall and narrow, but really dense, chunky size. So it's going to be a longer baking time because it's going to take more heat to get in the middle. If you're baking, let's say 9x13, it's going to be less time because it's longer, skinnier. So mine is probably going to cook for at least 35 minutes. I would say if you're doing a 9x13 style cake, it'll probably be around 25. Cupcakes, I would do 15 to 18. And of course, I'll be posting this recipe in my description, so I'll have all the measurements and times and different variables of times based on what kind of cake you're baking. So it's time to put her in the oven, and I'm going to start my timer for 35 minutes.
A few moments later.
Okay, so now that my cake is in the oven baking, it's time to make the icing. So I thought I would make, for the first time ever, some strawberry icing. Because the nice thing about Bundt cake is instead of having to make like whole frosting and frost and decorate the cake, you can just make like a glaze or an icing and just drizzle it right on top. So today I'm going to be attempting a strawberry icing with 2 ingredients. So all you need is some strawberry jelly, jam, what's the difference? And some powdered sugar. So since I've never made this, I'm going to start out with a 1/4 cup of strawberry jam to 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour the jam in the bowl first. Not forget to attach my whisk. And then I'm just gonna mix that by itself to get it really nice and broken down for just like a minute. So there's the strawberries, all nice and squished. And then I'm gonna go for the powdered sugar. So like I said, I'm just going to start off with a 1.5 cups, doing 1/2 cup at a time to make sure that I don't add too much. Hold on. It's everywhere. Then I'm going to go ahead and mix that. So it's just 1/2 cup. It's actually not bad. It's not nearly enough, but it's not bad. Let me scrape the sides. I want it to be pretty thick so it'll stick to the sides of the cake as much as possible. Okay, I'll just mix that real quick. So it's actually pretty much the consistency that I'm going for, but since that's not enough icing, I'm going to have to up this 2-ingredient recipe to a 3-ingredient recipe on the fly. So I'm just gonna add about a tablespoon of almond milk. Came out quickly. And I'm gonna add the other half cup of powdered sugar. Okay. Then I'm going to mix that all together for another minute. Okay, well that looks pretty good actually. It's nice and thick. I don't need a lot because I'm just going to drizzle it on top. Goopy. Slimy. I could stop there, but I need to taste it. It's pretty good. Tastes like strawberries and sugar. I could just leave it at that, but what my brain really wants to do is add a drop of pink food coloring to make it pink. So I'm just gonna add a drop or two of pink food coloring. Might ruin the whole thing, it might make it perfect. This is just the world of baking for you. So here we go. Just do one drop. See what happens. This is gel food coloring, by the way. I did not use red regular, I used pink gel. Wow, it's pink. Could be a little more pink though. I'm just gonna do one more drop and that's it. No more. I promise. Okay, no more. Yay, it's perfect. So, now I've got some now I have some strawberry glaze for my cake. Easy. Cool. So I'm just gonna set that aside until I need it and wait for my cake to finish baking. So, BRB.
One eternity later.
Okay, I'm back. So the cake is done. I ended up, after the 35 minutes, baking it for an additional 7. So about 42 minutes total for this guy. And pulled it out, checked it, it was done. Let it sit for about half an hour, 40 minutes or so, until it's fully cooled down. And that is where we're at now. So now I'm going to go ahead and dump it out upside down. I'm a little scared here. So come on, girl. Ooh. Hey, look at that. Okay. And then I'm going to take the glaze and just kind of drizzle it on top. to make sure it's even. A little more right there. Not bad. Well, wow, that looks nice. Oh! That could have been the worst thing I've ever done. Okay, well, here is the final cake. So this is the chocolate cake with the strawberry glaze. And really you could put any glaze on this that you want. I just chose strawberry because it's pink and it's a nice contrast to the dark chocolate. And chocolate strawberry seems like a good flavor combination. I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, so hopefully that's good. But that's pretty much everything. This cake is ready to be dug into. This heart is ready to be broken. Alright, well, we're all set. Thank you so much for coming along on this little cake journey with me. I will, like I said, link the recipe and all the measurements and everything and the instructions down in the description box if you want to just take a look at that, as well as some options for like glazes and different things you can use this recipe for. And as always, if you have any questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to get back to you. Other than that, we are all set. I'm gonna dig into this cake now, but thanks for stopping by and I will see you in the next one. Bye.